Hey everyone, Vedi here, and it's finally happened. Silksong has finally dropped, the game that so many of us have been anticipating, waiting for just so long is finally here. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Silksong is the sequel, the follow-up to the original Hollow Knight game, a Metroidvania side-scroller which is an action, adventure, exploration, there's Souls-like elements, there's cool combat, there's platforming, there's so much in these games that, so many people are extremely excited. How could they not be? We successfully crashed Steam, we broke the Nintendo Store, it never even went up on the PlayStation Store, I had to wait 2.5 hours. Everything broke, it was so difficult to even get your hands on the game to play it. But here we are. We finally get it. And I wanted to make this video just sharing my initial thoughts, my first thoughts, my kind of stream of consciousness about my experience with the game so far. I'm a few hours in, and I'll say that at first it felt very much like Hollow Knight. The classic nostalgic feeling of a beautifully designed environment, really nice music, just really straightforward. You jump over enemies, you hit them with your weapon, and it still feels very much like Hollow Knight did right at the start. You also have a beautiful world with, as I just said, beautiful music, amazing designs that you can see they put a huge amount of time and effort into creating. Already the world is very exciting, and it gives you this great sense of adventure once again. The thing I loved about Hollow Knight was that there was so much to explore, so much to discover, and you were almost overwhelmed with choice with where you could go, and I'm getting that same feeling right now. I absolutely love it, and I love that there is so much exploration to do. Now, I was a little worried, because if it was basically just the same as Hollow Knight, then I don't think that it was going to be, live up to people's expectations, I should say. But I think that you can really feel the difference in Hornet as a character. Right at the start, you don't really feel it a huge amount, but her down A in the air specifically, the way that she kind of pogos off of opponents is very different. She kind of does it diagonally now, which changes the way that she navigates through terrain and the way that she interacts with enemies. I didn't love it at first, but now that I've gotten more of a hang of it, I still would say that I don't love it. But I'm definitely more used to it, and I can see the elements. And I'm hoping that they introduce more things that just give us more mobility. Because the one thing I will say, there is so much mobility with this character. Like, I just discovered, as of recording this audio, that you can sprint. I don't know if I'll have any footage of it, but you can sprint, like, almost immediately. I got the dash, and you can sprint, and once you get all this mobility, and I know that there's more mobility to come, the mobility is crazy on Hornet, and it gives you such a dynamic feeling. When you're encountering bosses with all of this mobility, it feels really, really cool. And I will say, it feels different to how Hollow Knight felt. And there are subtle differences, largely because a lot of your mobility, brings you to the ground. Whereas in Hollow Knight, you kind of just went sideways, up and down. But in this one, it's kind of curvy. I don't know how else to describe it. When you dash in the air, you don't go in a straight line, you sort of fall forwards. And then the same thing, when you press your down air, you're going directionally down rather than kind of bouncing and just hitting underneath you. You really feel the extra mobility, and I'm really grateful for it. I do worry about if it's too much for people who, are used to the Hollow Knight. Maybe they're new to the genre. Maybe it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I will say that I think the game in general, it feels much harder. The way in which the bosses interact with you, some of the bosses feel really ruthless. They do so much damage early on in the game. Some of the platforming, the navigating your way through terrain is incredibly difficult at times, and it's so early on into the game. And just some of the opponents that you run into, they feel like mini bosses almost because of how much HP they have and how tough they are to get through. I do worry that the game might be a little bit difficult for people who aren't familiar with the genre, and it can be quite punishing too. Some of these benches are very hard to find. Now, personally, for me, I love all these things. I love the extra challenge. I love how much more mobility there is. I really love how dynamic the game feels, and I love how tough the game feels right now. Oh my god, why is this so hard? That reminds me, healing is so different now, because in the original Hollow Knight, you could heal a single health bar. But in this game, you basically just get 3 health bars or nothing. and you have to fill out your silk gauge in order to use it, and it really does make things kind of feast or famine. It makes things a lot more challenging at times. Sometimes it's really valuable to have. Like, you can feel how different the game is to Hollow Knight, and I will credit them for making it feel that way while still having a lot of the great elements of Hollow Knight that made Hollow Knight. I am worried for many followers of the genre that the increase in difficulty might put them off it, that it might stop them from wanting to make progress, that the fact that sometimes, like, there are some areas where the gaps between benches are so long and you have to spend a long time running back to areas that can be really frustrating. But again, the character has so much mobility. I just discovered that she has a sprint, which makes such a massive difference right from the get-go. You can just full send it. You hold R2 and you are sprinting. It feels great. So, but yeah, those are my concerns. Oh, small thing as well, you can just speak to characters. Like, you actually talk to them, which is nice. Hollow Knight was just like a husk, he didn't really say much. But on Hornet, you actually have conversations. You get to see more of her personality. You get to see who she is as a character. I'm hoping we get a little bit more character development from her as well. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I am excited. I do think the game is tougher, and if you are going into it, maybe try Hollow Knight first if you're new to the genre. But yeah, I definitely think you're in for a bit of a challenge with this game. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. I will release a full review in about 2 weeks. I generally release a video every fortnight, every 2 weeks on a Thursday. So if you are interested, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video because it helps a lot, and maybe share it with your friends. I'd appreciate it. Anyway, I wish the goddess of RNG blesses you with good shit, good loot, and a good day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.